Why is the water salty? Imagine getting lost in the countryside in a country that you don't know by yourself and you don't speak the language. Kai, that wretched, that goddamn apartment. I used to cry. You know, when I tell you, look, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot in this city. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adeze. If you're new, I'm 19. I study medicine in Italy, in Rome. I'm Nigerian, I'm Igbo. Yeah, today's video is gonna be a story time. I've been saving this story time because I just didn't even know, like, I felt like I needed to heal from it first, you know what I mean? But this is the story of my accommodation, moving here, studying in Rome. As I said in the beginning, for those of you that don't know, I am studying abroad. I'm originally from the UK, like I was born and raised in London, but I chose to study in Rome, in Italy. Just a little backstory as to, like, how I got into this accommodation mess. So obviously, with the Italian system with medicine, the way they do it is like once you find out that you got in, like you have to enroll physically within like 2 days. If you don't, your place gets given to someone else because it's like so competitive. And so cool. 2 2s now, innit? I got my place. So literally found out on a Wednesday, we booked a flight ticket on the Thursday. No, we booked a flight ticket on the Wednesday, and on the Friday we flew out. That's it. Bang bang, bus, like just like that. Cool. We came to Rome now. Me and my mum. When I say we came to Rome. We enrolled. All of that in itself was so stressful. I can't even get into that. That was stressful. But we enrolled. Cool. I thought that finding accommodation was going to be, just look online, call some agencies. 2 or 3 days, you found somewhere, period. I thought it was going to be simple because my mum booked her tickets so that she would stay with me for 2 weeks. We thought 2 weeks would be enough time to find a place for me to move in there, my mum to move in with me and see everything and then go back to London. Little did we know. So yeah, like obviously we've come now. We're walking around Rome looking for a place to stay, you get me? We knew some nuns who lived in the city. Don't ask why. Look, my family's Catholic. My mum just knows nuns everywhere we go. She just knows nuns. Like, I don't know how she does it. She just knows them. They were Nigerian, and so we were staying with them for that 2 weeks. Because some of them could speak Italian, they were like helping us talk to people, find a place to stay, Cool. I don't really want to get into like, the dynamics of the nuns and that too tough. I don't really want to, because it's a bit of a sticky one still. But like it was just a bit, human beings, people want to help you, but do they really want to help you? So certain people were helping us find a place, but then do they really want to help you? Do you know what I mean? Like it was just a bit techie. Basically what happened was one of the nuns who was helping us, she kind of rushed us into this contract with one of the agencies, and this guy, the Italian guy who was their agent, he was all like, yeah, it's a lovely place, it's so near to your university, you have a place to yourself, the neighbors are lovely, they're so kind, everything will be great. We went there, bad vibes already, because like it didn't feel near to my university, but obviously we didn't know better because we're not from Rome, we didn't live in Rome, so we didn't know better, and they were saying that it was near to the university, so we took their word for it. I was like googling the journey and I was seeing some crazy times, like 1 hour journey, and I was like, this doesn't look right. And then I showed it to the nun and she was like, no, that's wrong, like I know the journey is fine, I was like, okay, like obviously this ain't my city, this ain't my end, like let me just allow her, like let me just listen to her, so we went there. There were so many red flags. Like the apartment itself was nice, it was expensive, so it was nice. It was a nice apartment, like marble floors, like nice, but the apartment was barely furnished. Like there was no bed, there was no mattress on the bed. It was a bit cold and like desolate. That's how I would describe it. And it was in it was in the countryside, because like Rome is here, the apartment was like on the outskirts of Rome, so it wasn't really in Rome. Like how like Dartford is not London, but people from Dartford still claim London. It was kind of like that. And like in Dartford they have like the blue buses. that's what we had. We literally had like blue buses, like coaches in this area. We didn't have the normal like the red and the grey buses that you see in like proper Rome. So red flags, red flags, red flags. Red flags. And by this time we've been looking for time, and we've been trying so hard to find accommodation. We couldn't find nothing. No one was trying to help us. If it wasn't racism, then it was something else. If it wasn't this, it was that. Do you know what I mean? Like, now that this nun and this agent were now kind of pressuring us, like, you need to pick this apartment, it was kind of like we just had to sign the contract. It was just a lot. Like, it was a lot, because deep I was only 18. Obviously now I'm only a year older, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I was only 18. It just felt like, raw, there's a lot going on. And so we signed the contract. I remember my mum was like in tears when we signed the contract, because we both felt that it was bad vibes, but it was like we felt like we had no other choice, because I needed a place to stay. Uni was starting in like a week. I had to move somewhere. So we signed the contract. My mum went back to London, and then I moved in. More red flags. More red flags. Red flags. Because now they're telling us, oh, sorry, there's no light. Why is there no light? You've been known that I was going to move in, so why haven't you put the light by now? And bearing in mind, they were telling us that I was going to have to pay X amount of money every month for bills like light, gas, water, all of them things there. Where's the light? They were saying there's no light. What we'll do is we'll connect your landlady's light thingy, her power supply, to your apartment so that you can have her light. I was like, okay, cool, but that's definitely not a permanent solution. Then I move in there, and the cooker, like the stove, is not working. There's no gas, there's no, like, what's going on here? I'm very confused. So I'm like communicating with them, like, why is there no gas? I felt so much in the dark, because at that point I didn't speak a word of Italian. There's no gas. Why is there no gas? I couldn't cook. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And then they were like, oh, we're gonna fix it. So I was like, okay, but next red flag was I went to take a shower. Why is the water salty? I go to drink tap water. Why is the tap water salty? That's my boy. Take your own. Like, why is it salty? When I'm showering, why is it burning in places it shouldn't be burning? Because the tap water is salty. I don't understand. They were like, oh yeah, sorry, we forgot to tell you, but because of the area that you're in, the water's a bit salty. Before I moved in, they told us that there wouldn't be any Wi-Fi. And maybe I'm spoiled, but I've never had to think about being somewhere where there's no, actually no, when I went to the Gambia, there was no Wi-Fi. The nun, because she was trying to rush us into it, she told me before we signed the contract, she was like, oh, there's no Wi-Fi, but you know, if you just buy this data package, like 15 gigabytes, it will last you a whole month, you'll be fine. So I was thinking, okay, I mean, I've never personally had to buy 15 gigabytes. Like, I've never had to like rely on data as my internet, if that makes sense. So I don't know how much is enough to last you a month. So when she said 15 gigabytes is enough and that she herself does that, I was like, okay. But she sounded phony, because I knew she was trying to rush us into it, but I was like, okay, she says so. So I got the contract, moved into the apartment. There's no gas, the water's salty, there's no light, and I'm just alone in this foreign country with this apartment that's just higgy-hagga in the middle of nowhere. So I've turned on my data now, and I'm just lying in my bed crying and watching Netflix. Live a blinded life, wish I was there, wish we'd grown up on the same advice. And when I say within 24 hours, that data was finished, and I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? Like,
what the hell we gonna do now?
What the hell am I supposed to do now? And it was like, on top of there being no internet now, I have no data, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. Like, the service was so bad in that apartment. And then she started telling me, oh yeah, because I was communicating with them and asking them like, what's going on? As each problem was arising, I was telling them, I was like, what's going on? She was like, oh yeah, in certain areas of the country, certain like mobile networks don't work as well, so because you're on Vodafone, it might not work that well there. Or like, all of this could have been avoided if you didn't like push me into this contract, knowing that we didn't really know any better, but you just wanted to like get us out the way. This is like one of the biggest lessons I learned from moving here. Like, sometimes people want to help you, but do they really want to help you? Ask yourself that. Do they really want to help you, like make sure that you're good? Because if you're not going to help me to the best of your ability, I don't want your help. Or if you're only helping me so that you can say you helped me, I don't want your help. I'm fine. I'd rather sleep on the street, honestly. Like, because after all that, it was just like, why did we even bother? Like, why did I even bother like rushing into this? Because she pushed us into it. And why did you bother helping us if you weren't going to help us properly? Why did I have to suffer like that? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, like, I couldn't cook the whole time I lived there. I lived in that apartment for about a month. In that whole month, I never saw gas. The cooker was never working. The water remained salty. There was no Wi-Fi.
I'm in the ghetto.
I had no internet most nights because, like, it's not like I can be buying 15 gigabytes of data every day. That's expensive. So I had no internet and no service. I remember like having to stand by my window to talk to my mum on the phone, and even then sometimes I wouldn't be able to hear her, and I would just hang up the phone and burst out crying because I was so alone. And then everything's not working. Like, do better. Do you know what I mean? Like, do better. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. My mental was, I was done out here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was actually so done out here. You know, we actually moved. So all of that was going on. And then I had to find out about the journey from my apartment to uni. Tell me why the bus only comes once an hour. So if I missed my bus, that's it. I can't go to uni. Like, if you miss the bus, you're late, period. It's not like if you live somewhere else, if you miss the bus, you'll be like 5 minutes late. But here, if you miss the bus, you're going to be an hour or 2 hours late. That's it. They told me it was one bus to uni. Why am I having to take this one coach to the station and then take another bus to uni? Why lie? Why lie and push me into this contract so that the agent can get his money and you can say that you helped me and just push us out the way and get something done? Like, I don't believe in helping people if you're not going to help people. Do you know what I mean? You know, when I tell you, look, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot in this city. I've actually been through a lot. But yeah, like, and then like, so obviously uni was like an hour away instead of, because they told me it was like 25 to 30 minutes away. It was an hour away. The nearest church and the nearest shops were a 20-minute walk away, both of them, which is so inconvenient. Like, carrying shopping, like walking 20 minutes. I'm so sorry, that's so long. Like, fuck, you know, like, it had me walking through the countryside and stuff. Like, it was bare long. And bear in mind, like, this was cunch, and I was living in an apartment by myself. Like, not a person of colour in sight. Not a person that I knew in sight. I was so alone. I can talk about it now and, you know, I can kiki about it. But back then, I used to cry. I used to stay in uni so that I could download episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race onto my phone on the Netflix app so that I could watch them when I got home, because I didn't have any internet and I had nothing to entertain me, or I couldn't talk to anyone. What kind of suffering is this? The things I used to go through, the times I used to get lost on the way back to that apartment, that wretched, that goddamn apartment. The times I used to get lost. I remember I was crying at the bus stop at the station and this woman helped me because I was lost. The blue coaches that go into the countryside, they all look the same to me and I don't speak the language, so I'm just seeing these names and I don't know what it means, so I'll just get on a random one. One time I was like, sorry, where am I, to someone, and then they were like, they told me where I was and I was like, oh shit then. Then I got off the bus, I was just in the middle of nowhere on a one-way road. So it wasn't even like I could cross the road and then catch another bus. Nope, it was a one-way road, B. I was done out here, I was trapped. I remember walking down that road and crying and just walking and walking. There was no establishments in sight. When I looked across the road, like, it was like a big chasm and you could see the city lights. I was literally in countryside. Imagine getting lost in the countryside in a country that you don't know, by yourself, and you don't speak the language. Kai. Nah. I suffered. I remember, like, I would go to my landlady's house because she knew I didn't have any gas, so she lived like right next to my apartment, so I would cook like pasta there and like a sauce, and that would kind of last me for a few days. And, like, it was so hard communicating with her because, like, I didn't speak a word of Italian, she didn't speak a word of English, but I had to make it work. I remember my mum came to visit me in the apartment. we went to the landlady's house, and then my mum was like, why do you think that it's acceptable to have a tenant in an apartment with no gas, with no this, with no that? And the woman was like, oh, she can make her meals in the oven. And my mum was like, what meals is she going to make in the oven? What healthy meals is she going to make in the oven? This woman brought out a cookbook and said, you can make pasta and rice in the oven. Like, I don't know where you from, but like where I'm from, we don't do it like that. What's all this casserole and them things there? Like, I'm not making rice in the oven. Are you alright? Are you actually alright? When I tell you, like, I suffered. I really did suffer. It was one of the hardest, honestly, one of the hardest points of my life. And I had to wait it out, I had to survive that month. Yeah, I just had to deal with it for that whole month, because like we wanted to honour the contract for at least a month. Since we paid the money for the rent and it was quite expensive, might as well just firm it for that month before I move somewhere else. But it felt like the longest month of my life. Like, it literally felt like 6 months. When I remember that it's a month, I feel like, nah, that was not a month. It felt so long, like so long. But yeah, I feel like it taught me a lot about living in this city. It's really not easy, like getting around, navigating, especially getting lost is so easy here. It showed me the brutal, like harsh reality, because I came here, when I first came here as a tourist, you know, bright-eyed and, oh, tourism, Rome, the Colosseum, ice cream, pasta. But actually living here is a whole different story, period. But I'm really, you know, obviously we thank God for our experiences. I'm a firm believer in like things happening for a reason, because I feel like that experience really prepared me for things I'm going through now, because now I feel stronger. If I get lost now, I don't cry, I don't call my mum, I just figure it out. Do you know what I mean? It made me a whole lot more independent, because I had to be more independent going through all of that. Whenever I tell people I study abroad, a lot of people say, lol, I could never. It's like, I used to feel like that too, but I feel like after going through this, I can really, like, I could live anywhere. That's how I feel. I could live in the jungle. That's literally how I feel. But yeah, that accommodation was done out here. If you are planning on studying abroad, or studying particularly here in Rome or in Italy, like, feel free to message me. Make sure you check out like Facebook groups and ask people before you move. Make sure you visit, make sure you like ask important questions, like, is there a there wasn't even a washing machine where I lived. I had to go to the laundry. Luckily it wasn't too far. Like, ugh, fam, when I tell you I suffered, living on pizza for a month because I couldn't cook. Are you dumb? No, I suffered. But we move innit, we move. But yeah, if you are planning to study abroad or move somewhere or live by yourself, make sure you do your research and ask questions. No question is too stupid. Like, is there gas here? Is there running water? Is the water salty? Is there internet? Is there a washing machine? How far is the bus stop? In fact, don't even ask them. Map out the journey yourself. Take the journey yourself and see what it's like, because there's no need to be suffering. There's no need to be suffering the way I suffered. It's unnecessary. But yeah, we can laugh about it now. But back then I was crying. I was crying every night into my pillow. I was crying. Yeah, I was crying. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment down below your experiences with living abroad, studying abroad, living by yourself, blah 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 blah. And yeah, you know, feel free to message me as well. Like, I get loads of messages on Facebook, but you can also message me on Instagram, Twitter, message me on Instagram and them things there if you want to, or Facebook. I try to reply and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay blessed.